Hello, welcome to my tutorial on how to create a Disco Dodgeball server. Really, I'm following along with Erik, the developer's instructions, but I've had to make some modifications as he hasn't updated this in like 5 years. So yeah, bear with me. If you're new here, my name is Dodgeball. I play this game called Disco Dodgeball. It's pretty epic. Yeah, so let's jump right in to the introduction. Basically, you're just going to need a computer that you're going to run the server on, and a router with port forwarding capabilities. So we're going to start out with port forwarding. Yeah, we'll start out with port forwarding because that's like what I want to get out of the way first. Then we can grab all the other stuff that we need. So basically what you need to do is log into your router. For me, my local IP subnet is 192.168, and then the router is located at 1.1. So whatever that is for you, you might have to look on your router or just pull up command and do ipconfig, and you'll see the IPv4 address, and whatever this is, it'll probably be a 1 after it. So up to here, and then it'll be a 1, something like that. If you don't know that, at the very least, you'll probably have to look at the router anyways to find the login. So I'll log in here, and you can see my IP, which I have blurred. So now you're going to find your wide area network configuration. For me, it's just WAN, and then you'll find port forwarding. So you'll have to look up. It's different for every single router. You'll have to look up how to port forward on your specific router. Basically, then it's just adding all of the information from this. So there's UDP ports that you need to port forward, and there's TCP ports that you have to port forward. So what you do is you'll just grab these, copy them, go back over to your router, and you'll add a profile, and you'll select, you don't have to name it, you just select TCP or UDP. We're doing UDP first, and then you just enter in the ports, copy paste, and then you select the IP address that's coming from. And this is where ipconfig comes in handy. So you're going to need to grab that IP address that you saw earlier, except for you'll have to do ipconfig. So for me, I'll do ipconfig. And so this is my address for this computer. So you need to grab this address and stick it in here. For me, it's already categorized. So if I selected this is my other PC. This is the PC that we're making it on. So for you, it'll be different, but you have to make sure that it's the address of your computer. So after that, you can just hit OK. And because I've already added the entry, it's not going to put it in. And then it's basically the same thing for TCP. So I won't go over that. The next thing that we want to do to make sure we're not running into any issues with this is adding a firewall rule. So you basically, if you're on Windows, well, I think the only way you can do this is if you're on Windows. Basically, you just put firewall, Windows Defender Firewall, find that, go to Advanced Settings, go to Inbound Rules, and we're going to add the exact same thing. So it's going to be a port, and we're going to use UDP, and we're going to grab the ports from earlier. So we'll go back here, copy, enter in the ports, do next, click allow this connection, and click next on this as well. You want all of these check marked. I already have these made, so I'm not going to press enter. The next thing you'll have to do is do this step over again, except for you'll select TCP this time, put all the ports in. We'll just do this so I can show you what the next screen is going to look like, and then allow the connection, and then make sure that they show up. I've named mine Disco Dodgeball, so there's Disco Server as well. I think I was messing around with other stuff because I was running into issues. Anyways, that's that for now. Yeah. So, and it looks like Photon Server's already created some, like look right here, Photon. When you install Photon, it looks like it's already created stuff. So you might already be covered, but just in case it doesn't, you want to be covered there. So the next thing is grabbing Photon. We're going to need Photon to run the server. So I'll leave links in the description. First one's going to be Photon, and it just goes to Photon, like the base website, just so in case the website or the link, if I put the link directly to the download, there might be a chance in the future that if people are watching this, they won't know how to get to it, or the page will be gone. So basically, you just go to SDKs, you go to server, click on server, and then you go to download SDK. And since I already have it downloaded, we'll go into the next step. So once it downloads, it's going to be a zip file in your downloads. Drag it to your desktop, and then we're going to extract it and leave the name. I usually find it more helpful to leave the name. The joys of waiting for stuff to unzip it. A lovely 1 megabits per second. Oof. All right, so now that it's unzipped, we have the unzipped version right here. I'm going to drag that out and put it right here. All right, so now that we have the Photon server extracted, we need to grab a license key, a free license key for Photon server. So for that, we'll need to make an account. So you can just create one here. I'll do xdodgeball@gmail.com. Actually, I think I have 2 L's in my... You guys better not spam me. Bridge. Okay. So now it's going to email you. So you go to your email or your Gmail and you confirm your account. So we'll suggest a password because I find that the most easiest. And we go to dashboard, and we go to self-hosted, and now we have our free and trial licenses. So we could do a 30-day trial of the unlimited capacity, but we're never going to go over 100 capacity anyways in Disco Dodgeball. So basically, you just click download, and you're gonna want to drag this to your desktop. So I'll just do this. So now we're ready to start up our Photon server and get that configured. So you're going to want to copy this and navigate into the Photon server, into deploy and bin Win64. By the way, this isn't possible on 32-bit machines. They've dropped support in version 5 for 32-bit machines. And then you just basically copy paste this into your deploy bin Win64 folder. So now that we've done that, we can start up Photon control.exe. So when you do this the first time, Windows Defender is going to be like, bruh, this is not cool. So you just click more info and run anyway. It's not going to hurt your computer. Click yes. And we'll have Photon down in the taskbar down at the bottom. And it says Photon stopped. So now what you can do is you can see it's picked up your license, which is good. That's what you want. Now what you need to do is tell it to auto detect public IP. And it's going to auto detect it. We're going to still have to fill stuff in for configuration, but that's fine. I found that this will help the process. So set auto detect IP. And now if you wanted to, what you could do is you could load up Disco Dodgeball, and I'm going to show you. You can select Start App as Application, and now it's running. So it'll show you the little blue thing means it's running. And we'll actually load up Disco Dodgeball. It's already loaded up. And we're going to join our local network. So we can go local network, and you're going to have to actually go into network. So that's under Options, Network, and then put in your local IP address. So 192.168.1.55 for me. Click connect, and now we're connected to the Photon server. It's easy as that. This, however, will only work for this computer. If you tried to join this server on a different computer on your network, it's not going to work. And so we're going to have to go in and change some configuration files to make it so that it does work. So I'll go and create a match and show you that we can join the local network. It says creating room, joining room, and now we're in. And as you can see, we have 26 ping. We'll fix that later. Just another configuration thing, but we're in our Photon server, which is really cool. The first time this happened, I was like, "Whoa, it's actually working!" So yeah, let's go on to configuring the Photon server. So for this, you're going to want to stop application, and you're going to go right-click and explore working path. And so I have a few locations that I'll leave in the description for where to go and what you're going to need to change. So the first is under, we can actually stay in here. So we'll go back to deploy under load balancing GameServer bin, and you're going to want to edit the Gameserver.xml. So right here, master IP address, this is going to be the computer that you're hosting it on. So 192.168.1.55. So once you've pasted that in, press save. Save the file, close it, and now we're going to go back all the way back to the root folder. We're going to go under src-server, under load balancing, and then we're going to go under master.xml.config. Oh wait, no, not that one, sorry. I'm pretty sure this is, it's Gameserver. Yeah, Gameserver, there we go, okay. So you're going to basically do the same thing here as well. Put in your master IP address, 192.168.1.55, hit exit. The next one, so LoadBalancing.UnitTests is, you'll have to go under, what is it again? I'm just looking at my spreadsheet, or not spreadsheet, just information for where the areas are. Yes, it's under here. So now you have your master IP address again and public IP address. So the same thing, 192.168.1.55. And the last thing, actually no, that's it. So now the last thing that we want to do is make it so that we don't have bad ping. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into our master folder for Photon, and we're going to edit Photon Server.config. And so in here we have our instance. It's called load balancing, and we're going to add some files. So basically within this is all of the parameters. We're going to add 2 more parameters, and the 2 parameters are accept, basically. Let me pull it up 1 second. All right, so here we have the documentation for Photon, and we need to decrease the amount of time it takes. So this is the delay settings. For larger scale applications, it's best to use the default according to Photon. However, I've not found any issues with using this. So data sending and sending delay milliseconds, and accept sending delay milliseconds. You'd have to read exactly what these do. Basically, you're going to copy. I'm going to leave these in the description as well, so you just don't have to type it out or anything, but I'll show you as I put it in. So we have, after this, we're going to add this one. Yep, that one. And then it's going to be equal to 0. And then the same thing with the other command, which is accept sending delay milliseconds. And then we're going to set that equal to 0 as well. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can start our server back up, start as application. And if, let's say, for example, I boofed something. Something's just wrong. It doesn't know. It's going to do a pop-up, and it's going to tell you exactly where what's wrong, what's going wrong, which is really nice, I find. So now, if we go and create a room in our local area network, create. Now, as soon as we start pinging the server, which will be right after the countdown, you'll see that we have a ping of 7. And I've found this pretty much to be as good as you can get. Maybe if you had better hardware or dedicated hardware for this, you could get better. But 7's like, I don't know. It's just, it's good. I don't know how to get better. So yeah. Now we're going to get to the part where you're going to actually find the community server, or we're going to create our community server to connect to Photon. So it's actually going to show up here. That's what the port forwarding was for before. We need to install Steam CMD. I'm going to pull over the web page for that. It's right here, Steam CMD. So I'll leave a link for this in the description as well. And basically you just click downloading, and then there's a link right here. I might leave that in the description, but it's good for people to like go places. So you click that, it downloads. I'm gonna show in folder. I've already downloaded it multiple times. So we're gonna extract this, and we're gonna extract it to our desktop, and we'll do in Steam CMD. You're gonna want to create a folder called Steam CMD. I already have it installed, but I'm gonna install it again under the tutorial folder. So click there, extract, and now we'll go and take a look-see. I think it should be done. Yes. So Steam CMD, we have exe. So when you run this exe, it's going to create a whole bunch of folder or files, which is why you want this folder. So now we're going to have to refer back to, yeah, it's just downloading stuff, downloading all the stuff that's filling up the folder. We're going to have to refer back to Erik's tutorial for this. So once that's done, you're going to come over here, and we're going to follow, I think it's, it's one of these things down here. Yes, okay, so we're going to log in as anonymous, so type login anonymous, and then we're going to grab update this number, and then it'll download the Disco Dodgeball server. So we'll log in anonymously, we'll grab the command for app update, grab this, and then we'll enter, and now it's updating. So it's just about grabbed it, and it's fully installed. So this will install under Steam Apps, Common, Disco Dodgeball server. And so what I'll usually do is right here, I'll create a shortcut, create shortcut, and then I'll just throw this on my desktop so I have easy access to stuff. So now we'll get rid of this. We can quit this, and what we can do now is we'll run Disco Dodgeball server. And so at this point we're almost done. However, I've run into so many headaches with this program because it was built like 5 or 6 years ago. There's some quirks. Thankfully, I found a way around the quirks. So when I would open up Disco Dodgeball server before, I would hit start server, and we'll go and we'll see actually in Disco Dodgeball if our port forwarding worked. So yes, we see Disco server now. But in the past, when I've tried to join, sometimes when I start up Disco Dodgeball server, it just doesn't work. Like I'll just get like, well, let's see what happens. I might get really lucky this time. Yep, so see here, getting server info. On rules failed to respond. And this has just been a headache forever. Thankfully, we can avoid that. Don't know how this works, but it does. Basically, when you're starting up Photon, you start it up, you run the server, then you open up this, you start the server, you shut it down, you check use Steam authentication, start the server. And now you have to shut it down again and uncheck this and start it again. Now, when we refresh this, it'll take a little second to update here. It will allow us join and see we're in the community server now. So we'll go back and we'll create a match, and we'll create it on the community server, and we're in. We've now successfully made a Disco Dodgeball server. However, and this is perfect timing, don't join it from the community tab on your local network. It causes so many problems. Hey, this is FutureXD here, interrupting the tutorial just to let you know that even if you join the local network, people are still probably going to be disconnected even if they join through the server, Disco Dodgeball server page. So at least that's been the case for me. I've had lots of issues with that. So you guys are welcome to continue with the tutorial and try that and see how it works. If it does, that's great. If it doesn't, then what you'll want to do is set up a subdomain with there's lots of different free subdomains that you can get, and basically just use that subdomain to route to your public IP address, and then what you do from there is you put in that subdomain into the local network options in your Disco Dodgeball game. I did that at the start of the video with setting up like just my local IP address. You would put your subdomain in that. I'm not going to make a tutorial on how to do that. The explanation should be enough to figure it out. I'll put a link to how I've set up my disk subdomain, the website that I've used, if that's helpful. Another thing I thought I should mention is I cut out a couple sections where I was putting in my public IP address into the .config and .xml files within Photon Server. I found that isn't necessary, and so I cut that out. I thought I'd mention that just so that you aren't confused as to why the cuts seem a little bit awkward. And then another thing I thought I should mention is that you need to have a static IP address when you're port forwarding. Just because if you don't set up your device with a static IP address, you're going to have a really terrible time, because every time you restart your computer is going to grab a completely different IP address from your router, and you're going to wonder why it's not working. So that's why. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm watching through the rest of this tutorial, and I'll add on other stuff if I have gripes with my past recording. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the tutorial. If you join it from your local area network, people will still be able to see the server publicly through the community server tab. However, you won't run into the headache of getting kicked all the time. So yeah, that I think just about sums it up. It's okay. It's been like 25 minutes. We'll see how this turns out. I might have to do this over again. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's kind of it. So yeah, basically make sure you start Photon first. Oh, and here's another tip for Photon. So go to Explore Working Path, go to this and create another shortcut, and basically just pull this down here right next to Disco Dodgeball server. And then you have an easy way to start up things. I'll just mention quickly load balancing. So if we stop application, we're going to get disconnected from the server, and we'll also get that annoying thing. You can install this thing called load balancing, and what it does is allows you to run multiple instances of Photon, I'm pretty sure, and it makes sure that all the instances are being hit equally in load. So this was like if you had a massive application, you were running thousands of servers with thousands of players connecting. My 2 cents is just go with start as application. Unless you're running into weird issues, just go with this because it's the easiest. So yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, I'm available on Discord. I'm happy to answer. I'll leave my Discord tag in the description of this video. You can also comment. Probably won't reply to comments very often. I just find it's a headache. But feel free to leave feedback. Yeah, I think that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, leave a like. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, because otherwise I'm going to have to redo this. Yeah, I'll peace out now. Bye.